Good evening. My name is Dan Goldfus. I am married to Enav. We have 4 beautiful daughters. I have been serving for the last 30 years in the IDF. What a privilege and honor it is to be standing here in front of all of you as representative of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, whose amazing soldiers are fighting daily, hourly, for the past year to ensure the existence of the State of Israel and its right for Jews from all over the world to have a homeland. And we are, and we will be victorious. Our soldiers, men and women, regular, reservists, and permanent force together are committed to each other and to defend their country. Once again, we are witnessing the rise of anti-Semitism as seen in an unprecedented attack on Israeli sports spectators in Holland. 86 years ago, the Jews in Germany experienced Kristallnacht, where Judaism and Jews were attacked. The resemblance between the two events is horrifying, with one crucial difference. Namely, today we have the State of Israel, which enables us to stand up proudly for ourselves as Jews. In the words of David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, and I quote, "The fate of Israel depends on 2 things, its strength and its righteousness." This reflects Ben-Gurion's belief in the importance of both military and moral strength in securing Israel's future. He recognizes the need for Israel to maintain a strong and effective defense capability in the face of threats and challenges from its neighbors and enemies. At the same time, he stressed the importance of upholding the values of justice, freedom, and democracy, which are the foundations of Israel's identity and legitimacy as a Jewish and democratic state. We see this in the inspiring commitment of the men and women soldiers. Our military is currently fighting on 7 fronts. Our young soldiers, regular forces, reservists, and permanent force are fighting together, one beside the other, with an incredible commitment, one to the other, to the State of Israel specifically, and to the Jewish people as a whole. We are indeed privileged to be able to defend ourselves against the evil and disregard for human life that we have, unfortunately, been exposed to. We are a privileged generation to defend our common values, the sanctity of life, love, and to our fellow men, mutual responsibility and friendship. On the 7th of October 2023, unadulterated evil was unleashed on the citizens of Israel. There was no mercy, no humanity, just terror, hatred, and destruction. The terrorist organization of Hamas attacked viciously the villages and towns and military bases on the south of Israel, what is known as the Gaza envelope. They had one goal in mind: to kill, and to kill. The Hamas monsters killed, slaughtered, burnt, raped, and kidnapped everyone and everything that was in their way without any discrimination. Women, young and old, men, young and old, teenagers, children, and even babies, decapitating and mutilating everyone that they could. They were even proud of themselves and boasted to the world what they were doing. Among these who were the victims of this vicious attack were Jews, Muslims, Christians, and foreigners from many countries, children, young children, and babies, all innocent people going on with their lives. You cannot even imagine in your wildest dream the extent of the evil and horror that was unleashed that day. The lowest level of disregard for human life and inhumanity of the Hamas terror organization. The smell and the sights will not leave my mind for 1 second. The bodies of young people who just came to a party, the number of bodies thrown around, the burnt bodies lying next to and on top of each other is a sight that I can and will never forget. We failed on that day, and in those critical hours, we failed. We failed in our duty to defend our citizens in the villages and towns on the Gaza border. We failed to protect the children, the innocent citizens who relied on us, the military, to come and save them, to protect them. We failed to look after those young people who were enjoying themselves at a party, as young people throughout the world do. The joy and happiness turned to death, destruction, pain, and tears for all. Despite the resounding failure, with the military in disarray, I saw outstanding courage of citizens, soldiers, who came on their own initiative to push the enemy back and prevent them from going forward to other parts of the country. That day, people from all walks of life, citizens, soldiers, officers, were prepared to sacrifice their lives to save others. Fighting beside them, I saw them bleeding, hurting, stunned and confused, but not giving up for 1 second, not even stopping to take breath or a break. One soldier threw a grenade on the terrorists, sacrificing himself and saving lives. This is only one example of hundreds illustrated the love, care, and courage that was shown that terrible day. The result of those first days is horrific. 1,163 citizens were killed, desecrated, burnt, and raped repeatedly. On that day, they kidnapped 247 people, men, women, elderly and sick people, young girls, teenagers, boys and girls, and babies. 101 of the hostages are still in Gaza, more than 1 year later. It is hard to describe the battles of those days, the smells, the sights, the destruction and mutilation on the one hand, and on the other hand, incredible moments of humanity, love, commitment, friendship, and bravery shown one to the other. The soldiers went forward fearlessly. From that day till today, we have risen to be strong, brave, and resilient with our human values. We have risen like the phoenix from the ashes. For 10 months of the war, I commanded the 98th Division, a special paratrooper division. Under my command throughout that period, together with my commanders and warriors, we maneuvered in Khan Yunis, Sajaiya, Jabalia, Nutzerat, and Dir el-Balach, above ground and underground simultaneously, destroying terror infrastructure, the network of tunnels, and killing terrorists. In audacious missions, we brought back 6 live hostages and 19 bodies for burial in Israel. In these battles, under the most complex and difficult conditions, which until now has not been fought anywhere in the world, "185 courageous soldiers from my division fell, each one an entire world. These soldiers did not return to their families and loved ones. So many heroes, so much pain, tears, many young widows, and unfortunately many orphans. 368 soldiers were killed in Gaza. May their memory be blessed." We were on a roller coaster of pride at our achievements and moments of difficulty. At one of my meetings on the battlefield with the forces, I met a young officer who an hour before had lost his sergeant, who had been a close friend from home. They grew up together. I looked at him and knew that we had to talk. We sat down in a quiet spot, just the two of us. The officer cried at the loss of his fellow soldier and his friend. We hugged. I told him that he must take his friend with him in his heart, lead his team who were waiting for him, and continue fighting. He stood straight, wiped his tears, turned around and disappeared with his team to continue fighting. Those are our heroes. Young soldiers with feelings going on to fight with dedication and commitment. It must be emphasized that many of these soldiers who are in battle are in reserve force. They are husbands and fathers, wives and mothers who have been serving for more than a year, leaving behind families and workplaces, all for the goal of defending their country. Every time a soldier goes into the battlefield, they feel and know that you in the United States and elsewhere are with them, giving them support. There is a symbiotic connection between Israel and you people here in the diaspora. They are aware of the heavy responsibility and privilege that lie on their young shoulders, feel that they are the emissaries of the Jewish people wherever they may be. We in the military uphold our common values of decency, honor, commitment, caring and responsibility, one for the other. These values are there to protect us. We uphold these values in total contrast to our enemy. I feel that daily, that tremendous responsibility, not only to my soldiers, my country, but the Jews in the diaspora. As a son of immigrants from South Africa who made Aliyah over 50 years ago, I have always been aware of the importance of the connection of Israel and the rest of the world. We have common goals and values. I am aware of that connection and partnership. In addition, we are standing firm and fighting against world Islamic terrorism for fortitude and strength. Your support and mutual trust like today, your involvement energizes and nurtures us, the soldiers, officers, and people. You are here to give us practical support. For example, your huge demonstration and outcry against the evil a year ago. Thank you so much for that. Our partnership with the American people is a valuable and special connection, not to be taken for granted. The American military has stood by us in our hour of need in firm friendship. I would like to thank the American people, the administration and military for their unwavering support, which enables us to protect our homeland, the State of Israel. Our tasks are not yet done. The war is ongoing. Currently, we are involved and clamping down on 7 fronts, supported and urged by Iran, the head of the snake. We have achieved much and destroyed many strongholds and fortifications of the enemy on the various fronts. In Gaza, we have destroyed the Hamas and continue to contain them, whether it is above the ground or under the ground in the massive network of tunnels which they have built. In Lebanon, we have dealt a severe blow to the Hezbollah deep within their territory. We have neutralized the many infrastructure of the Radwan force, those very structures that they spent years meticulously building to attack us in the north of the country. Similar to the south, we are destroying the enemy above the ground and under the ground. All their massive arsenal of arms and ammunition, which was hoarded for the sole purpose of destroying the State of Israel, has been confiscated and destroyed. On 2 fronts, we have killed the leaders of evil, Sinwar and Nasrallah. We are victorious and successful by carrying out sophisticated operations such as beepers, as well as eliminating all the top commanders of Hezbollah in 2 weeks. The enemy is slowly beginning to understand and feel the might and the audacity of the IDF, the courage and commitment of our soldiers and officers, our heroes and dedicated young men and women. I cannot end without mentioning the 101 hostages, men, women, and babies who are at this moment in Gaza, in captivity. It is our obligation and utmost moral value to bring them home. Let us all wish a speedy recovery to our wounded soldiers in the hospitals and rehabilitation centers. We must continue to support them as they begin their long road to recovery. We thank them for their courage and sacrifice. May we be worthy of the sacrifice of the wounded and the fallen. I look at you from the podium and I'm overwhelmed. We have a Jewish state. We have a strong military. We must be proud of the Jewish people. We must be united as a people, as a world which upholds the value of life, freedom, love, and respect. I thank you all in the name of the soldiers and officers, our heroes, who are willing to fight so that we all may live. As I said at the beginning, we are and will be victorious. May we be worthy of them all. Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you.